The Harrington family had thrived for centuries, their name echoing through the annals of history like a haunting melody. They were known for their wealth, power, and the enigmatic sable locket that had been passed down from one generation to the next. The locket was said to bring prosperity and blessings, but beneath its alluring exterior lay a curse that had plagued the family for generations. The sable locket was a work of art, an exquisite piece adorned with black diamonds and a rare sable gemstone at its center. Its origins were shrouded in mystery, but it was believed to have been crafted by an ancient artisan who had imbued it with both dark and light energies. The curse, however, was born of tragedy and death. Legend had it that the locket had been stained with the blood of an innocent soul, a soul that cried out for vengeance from beyond the grave. The tale of the cursed locket began with Lord Nathaniel Harrington, a wealthy nobleman known for his ambition and ruthlessness. It was he who had acquired the locket and brought it into the family's possession. Soon after the locket became part of the Harrington legacy, tragedy struck. Lord Nathaniel's eldest son, Thomas, fell victim to a mysterious illness, and no doctor could cure him. As Thomas withered away, he spoke of haunting visions and a sinister presence lurking in the shadows. On the night of Thomas' passing, a chilling wind swept through the Harrington estate, extinguishing candles and leaving the mansion cloaked in darkness. Lord Nathaniel was found dead in his study, the sable locket clutched in his lifeless hand. The deaths of Lord Nathaniel and his son marked the beginning of the curse that would haunt the Harrington family for generations to come. Each successive heir who possessed the locket would suffer a tragic fate, a life cut short or a heart filled with sorrow. The locket was then passed to Lord Nathaniel's youngest son Charles, who became the new head of the family. Charles was a gentle soul, haunted by the memories of his father and brother. As he wore the locket around his neck, he felt an overwhelming sadness consume him, as if the cursed gemstone held the weight of all the lost souls that had come before him. As the years passed, Charles married and had a son named Edward, whom he loved dearly. But the curse had not relented, and on the night of Edward's 18th birthday, tragedy struck once more. A terrible fire consumed the Harrington estate, claiming the lives of Charles and his wife. Edward managed to escape the inferno, but he was left with a scarred face and a broken heart. He inherited the sable locket, the symbol of his family's legacy and the burden of its dark history. In an effort to break the curse, Edward vowed never to marry or have children, fearing that he would only bring more tragedy to the family name. He devoted his life to philanthropy, using his wealth to help those in need, hoping that his acts of kindness would somehow atone for the cursed locket's malevolence. As Edward grew older, he became reclusive, seldom leaving the confines of the estate. The mansion itself seemed to mirror his sorrow, its once grand halls now filled with melancholy and despair. One stormy night, as Edward wandered the deserted halls, he heard a soft whisper that seemed to come from within the locket itself. He held it to his ear, listening closely. "Free me, free us all," the voice murmured, carrying the weight of centuries of sorrow and regret. Edward knew not what the voice meant, but he felt a glimmer of hope, the possibility of breaking the curse that had plagued his family for so long. Driven by a newfound determination, Edward delved into the Harrington family history, searching for clues to unlock the locket's secrets. He discovered a forgotten journal kept by his ancestors, detailing their encounters with the sable locket and the malevolent presence that had taken root within it. According to the journal, the locket's curse could only be broken by an act of selflessness, the sacrifice of one's own desires for the greater good. But the price was steep. The one who broke the curse would be forever bound to the locket, their spirit eternally intertwined with the dark entity trapped within. Despite the dire consequences, Edward knew that breaking the curse was the only way to lift the shadow of tragedy that had loomed over his family for generations. On the eve of his 50th birthday, Edward donned the sable locket one last time. He stood before the mirror, his scarred face reflecting the weight of his decision. With a heavy heart, Edward whispered the words of release, invoking the ancient ritual of sacrifice. The locket glowed with a haunting light, and a surge of energy pulsed through the room. In that moment, Edward felt a searing pain in his chest, as if a part of him was being torn away. The locket's dark presence entwined itself with his soul, and he knew that he would be forever bound to the cursed heirloom. As dawn broke, the Harrington estate lay bathed in a soft golden light, and Edward's sacrifice had broken the curse. The locket, now stripped of its malevolence, felt cold and lifeless around his neck. The Harrington family's dark history had finally come to an end, but at a great cost. Edward's life continued, but he became a recluse, rarely seen outside the confines of the mansion. The locket, now void of its curse, remained in his possession, a somber reminder of the legacy that he had sacrificed himself to break. As the years passed, the story of the cursed locket faded into obscurity, a mere whisper in the annals of history. The Harrington family, now devoid of its dark past, carried on in quiet solitude. But the sable locket's true power lay not in its curse, but in the sacrifice of one man's selflessness, testament to the enduring strength of the human spirit in the face of darkness. And as the ages turned, the Harrington estate stood as a silent witness to the legacy of the cursed family heirloom, the lament of the sable locket, a tale of tragedy, redemption, and the eternal bonds that bind the living and the dead.